Hello, welcome to today's video. Let's talk about a simple thing that you probably hear as a buzzword, and that's the word grit. You've seen it on t-shirts, probably on slogans. What does that actually mean? Well, to me, grit is simply a willingness to do the little things that others necessarily aren't willing to do. And when I think about this in terms of, it's always used as a buzzword of the player, you want a gritty player, of course. But in actuality, that's really what a great leader is. They have some level of grit. Now again, there's different forms of leadership, but let's focus on being a leader who is simply using that definition of grit, willing to do the things that others aren't necessarily willing to do. I coach a sport like lacrosse. If you don't know lacrosse, getting ground balls is the sort of the epitome of grit. It's a 50-50 proposition with the ball laying on the ground. Who's going to go scoop it up? And a lot of times it's not so much based on skill, it's based on the willingness to go get it. A hockey player getting the puck down in the corner, a basketball player chasing after a loose ball who's willing to hit the floor. Those are examples of grit and doing those little things that a lot of players necessarily aren't. Because while it's not a flashy stat, getting a ground ball in a sport like lacrosse often will help tell the tale of who will ultimately win a game. So if you want to be a leader, you want to find that ability to, in your particular sport, what is one of those gritty statistics or one of those gritty scenarios that you can work on and concentrate on to become more of a leader? Because your willingness to go do something that others are not really can have an impact on the rest of your team. We have a player who on our team who is one of our offensive superstars, no doubt. He's a very talented player. But the bigger thing to me right now, especially in a time where we're struggling and sort of spiraling in the midst of a losing streak, his grit is really what we value more than anything right now. He's been scoring a lot of goals, but it's his willingness to go get a ground ball, to fight for a ground ball, to ride, which is like playing defense after a turnover. Little things that necessarily an offensive superstar might not normally do. But again, the goals that he has, the assists, he's got all of that. But it's that gritty stat that is really making the difference right now. And quite honestly, in the midst of this losing streak that we're having, the grit that he's been playing with is actually what is, I'm watching his leadership level up. Now, he's a hockey player too, and quite honestly, for full disclosure, he was the captain of the hockey team for the high school. But on our team, he is now establishing himself as a leader on the team because of the grit statistics that he is willing to do. The goals are nice, the assists are nice, the flashy plays are great. But I believe a player like that is what will dig us out of our hole. It's the way you play and do the things that others aren't willing to do. So if you're looking to become more of a leader on your team, whatever your sport may be, there's got to be some kind of situation or stat or scenario that is within your particular sport that not only will help your team from a tactical standpoint, but that garners you, to me, a lot of clout as a leader, because your willingness to do the things that others aren't, or say the things that others aren't necessarily always willing to say. That is the epitome of what leadership is. So grit and leadership, while not always the same thing, in some cases they are very, very similar. As always, I have a link down here in the description if you'd like to work one-to-one to establish and identify some of your leadership characteristics and what you can do to become a better leader. We've been going through daily habits that help to create your leadership identity, so check that playlist out. And as always, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.